Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the realm. My name is XSaviour. Today we have a very special guest, Brother Sulaiman Lee from Black Child Promotions.
Blessings. I give thanks for the invitation. Always give thanks for life. Another opportunity to be productive, and I'm grateful to be here, bro.
Thank you for coming through, bro.
Definitely.
So, give a quick brief introduction in regards to what you do with regards to Black Child Promotions, so that those that don't know can have a understanding of who you are and what you do on a day-to-day.
Okay, well, my name is Sulaiman Lee, and I'm from Black Child Promotions. We've been in existence since 2003, and we distribute literature across London, north, south, east, west. We've even been to places like Birmingham and done it. The concept started from a conference I went to in 2002, an international reparations conference, and that was in Barbados, and that's where the contemporary reparations movement as we know it kind of took its structure. And I was invited by Esther Stanford, and at that time as from the London UK delegation, with the likes of other people that were there, Esther Stanford, Pepper Kai Nkrumah, Binnie Brown and many others, I was compelled to make a vow to come and just be, a soldier in the liberation of our people, and this is the form it's taken. So I was inspired, by other people like Brooklyn Nubar, who's been doing this work from 1993. Other people like Asar Mike, who gave me my first job, starting off with DVDs and books. And Aki Wali, so many people, Lasana, Brother Jack, and over 10 members who have helped. And our main aim is just to raise the literacy levels of our people and show, the community aspect is, showing and proving, providing a service. So instead of just, talking at people and preaching at people, we're actually providing something that could liberate the minds of our people in practical terms and in real time also.
Yeah, excellent work, brother. Thank you for doing what you do. I'm someone that is deeply appreciative of everything that Black Child Promotions has done and continue to do.
And we also appreciate the support of the likes of yourself, the likes of the whole Begets Spirit family, for doing our first documentary and always showing us support. Grateful for that.
Talking of the documentary, a few years have passed, since then, and since the attack on you by the police. How have things developed for you? I know, in your personal life, you've had, you've welcomed some more children into the world.
Yeah.
Your father, has passed to the realms of the ancestors.
Yeah.
You've just launched your new game, your board game.
Yeah.
How and especially with these particular times that we're dealing with regards to this COVID epidemic, whether though you choose to believe it's real or not, it has affected society in such a way where, someone like yourself, who primarily deals with engagement with individuals that are on the roadside, how has it affected you? How, or has it affected you in any way?
Well, it's kind of it's impacted us in a positive way, because in this time there's a lot of revelations taking place. A lot of people within, especially the conscious community and books that go way back, in different disciplines, they talk of these times, or they talk of times like these. So I'm not really surprised when these things happen, because any system that's built on the oppression of others can't last and is not sustainable, because sustainability is a very important topic right now, and these things are not sustainable. Any system that's built on the oppression and the systematic oppression of others cannot sustain itself. Now, without getting too serious, we see ourselves as an essential service. So, they say essential stores stay open. People still need, literature. There's a lot of people now that's, the children are at home and they're looking to now supplementary education. So that goes back to the point, like the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said, we're not going to know ourselves until our backs are against the wall. So now we're in this, situation. A lot of parents who wouldn't have turned to it have now turned to home education. And it has its positive as well as negative, but mostly positive, because they become closer with their children. I've become closer with my children because I'm not working all of the time, so I'm at home, building a bond. So you have to just see the good in situations. We've lost a lot of elders. A lot of great people have passed on to their ancestors. I don't like to say dead, because it's not just death. There's the spirit will live on. That's why we say rise in power to all of the elders. Even Elder Dougie, who started on Ward's Corner, Seven Sisters, where we started, and he was there from the 80s. So I know a lot of people might not know the elder, but this elder walks around humbly, very humble, clean-hearted individual, and he does his works in the community. And he's passed on to the ancestors, and I'd just like to give him his respect as well, because even before I was born, he was doing this type of work. So it's impacted us in a positive way. And answering the other questions, going on to the other questions, what happened in 2016 where the community supported us? Brother Jeff from the Nation, supported us and supports me to this day, gives me legal advice, which is very important for young black men and young black people to have in general. Always have somebody, that can give you legal advice. As we know, as the Macpherson report says, that the police, and not just the police, the institutions that we have in this country are very racist, which is the reality. So it's always good to have some form of legal aid from a trustworthy source, So moving on from that, we don't expect to get anything from the police. We don't expect, because we don't want to be in a situation where they're saying, well, you're playing the race card, you're playing the victim. So I've just tried to, my brother at Black Love is Black Power, Brother Ja, he came and invested his time, energy and resources to restructure Black Child Promotions when we took a L from, the trauma of the police attack. So, he collaborated with me and, saying, after your father's passed, it'd be good for you to do a book, Our youngest member at Prior Printing has also been responsible for the design. See our book here. Great people, and we also have the board game Melanopoly. That's helping children interact, learn about intergenerational wealth, having characters like the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, Mumia Bujamal. It's the whole concept. Is something different. So we're working in development. I recently, in the last documentary we did, I mentioned I was doing a master's. I've completed it with distinction as well. So, I've just been basically trying to be productive, not just necessarily busy, but productive. Something that can leave a long lasting legacy, for my children to come up and see,
Well, that's no easy feat, bro. To actually come in and, achieve a master's in itself is, a great achievement, but to, pass it on a distinction level, that's, that's a master of masters. Do you know what I mean? So, for yourself, how do you see, why is education important? Why was it important to you?
Well,
outside of,
Do you know what? Yeah, there's there was one time I was going through, trying to balance doing the masters, doing the books, and children and everything. And I remember I told a Ras one time, this is the same Ras, I forgot his name now, but he introduced me to the father of Stephen Lawrence, rest in peace, rise in power, and he's a very dear elder to me. So I was finding it hard, to balance. And he said, this is a real story. He said to me, I said, yeah, I'm doing my masters, I'm trying to get through it. He said to me, listen, brother, don't sell no more books, or don't promote any more books about Marcus Garvey if you fail that course, please, brother. Because you told me now, you've put it in the atmosphere. You didn't have to tell me. But if you look at Marcus Messiah Garvey, the most honorable's face, you never really see him smiling. He's a very serious man. Some people could even describe him as austere, but he had to be serious. We have to have develop militancy. It's not partying all the time. We have to be disciplined. We have to, be consistent. And these type of things, So he basically said, if you fail that, you failed the mission because you started it. Not to say that Western education is saying basically you've made, you know, it clear to you put the intention out there. So if you now quit on this mission, don't talk to me about Marcus Garvey again. So that every time I thought, you know what, this exam's hard or I can't do this, I just remember the Ras saying, don't sell no more, don't promote no more books on Garvey, you know, because, you know, I say that to say there's a lot of people, because I receive and impart information, it's each one teach one. Only a fool knows everything, and we live in a lifelong learning economy. So we're always learning, we're all students of life. So you might have a man that's never been to university, but he has a wealth of knowledge, and he's just reason with you, you know, and he's educating you on life experience, on history and things that you may not know. So there's a lot with especially in Seven Sisters, Tottenham, and that Brixton as well. There's a wealth of information of what they call tacit knowledge. Tacit knowledge meaning it's not explicit. It's not for everyone. Only a few people know it. But these people are in our community. And me being on the front line, I come into contact with a lot of these elders, rich in knowledge. You know, so you know it's not hard for me to love this job. Because each day you're learning, each day you're improving, each day you're learning something that you might not have known, and in saying that you're also educating, and in saying that also there's a lot of children that come and they just want to see representation. They just want to see something. They're sick and tired of Roald Dahl and the Cat in the Hat and the BFG and all the rest of it. They want to see a Nancy. They want to know about the Orishas, or they want to know about African spirituality, or they want to know about Marcus Garvey or even Martin Luther King, or, you know, representations, even Hand of Surprise, or, you know, something that they can see themselves in a book. And even that itself, that's why we're called Black Child Promotions, because, you know, we're here to promote images that reflect us instead of, you know, always seeing other people's images, other people's perceptions of beauty that's forced on us. Let's see the beauty in ourselves. Let's see, you know, because everybody else sees our gifts and they exploit us through cultural appropriation. So we need to benefit from our own resources, and art and style and pattern and all of them things there. Not just academia, but all of the culture. Because a lot of people like to say for the culture and all this, and the culture this. But really, these people are culture vultures.
Talk on that, brother.
So we create the culture. We are the innovators, and all they do is come and hijack our ideas and benefit from it. We've got a book called Black Scientists and Inventors within the UK. And a lot of these inventions we wouldn't even know that came from us. You know, we're behind it most of the time, but other people have got the credit. Just like Elvis Presley, for example, not to go off topic, getting the king of rock and roll where? What about Chuck Berry and all the rest of them? Like, come on, king of rock and roll where? But these people are pirates. You understand? Just like the tune said, they're my pirate. You understand? But they're the original pirates. So we need to benefit from our own resources. We need to benefit from our natural resources, our intellectual resources, because these things are our currency.
Yeah, so it's funny you mentioned that, because, you know, the board game has that content in there. So.
Yeah, definitely. Because the board game as well, which is a collaboration, brainchild of Black Love is Black Power, and a collaboration between Black Love is Black Power and Black Child Promotions. But the concept is basically, you know, when we look at the social media age that we're living in, the digital age, it's about, you know, having a tangible product that people can actually use to teach their children about intergenerational wealth. You know, buying land in Africa, the concept of buying land in Africa. You've got one where you're penalised for not supporting black business, and, you know, losing 10 pounds or something to your granddad for playing dominoes. So it's something that we can relate to.
And,
you know,
and especially with these particular times, most people are in their houses at the moment. You know, they're looking for a gateway out of what they're doing at home. And, you know, your board game actually provides that level of entertainment where they're actually learning at the same time, which is, you know, fantastic.
And what's the unique selling point or the uniqueness about it is that it's catered towards us, melanin, melanopoly, you know, the concept of it, you know. So, you know, it's something, instead of us always begging to be a part of someone else's thing, let's do our own thing.
Well, look,
let's have our own industries.
Anyone that plays Monopoly,
Yeah.
you know, you're dying to get a blue colour. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're dying to own Park Lane.
Exactly.
You're dying to own Mayfair. If you own the greens and the blues, you're dominating the game.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Anyone that steps in your area, you're making sure you're taxing them, and you're hoping for the best that they land on one of your pieces of property. Why are we not having our own board games and trying to buy up some Nigeria, buy up some Ghana, set up some institutions, set up some railways, set up a nuclear plant, or if you want to do clean energy, which we would deal with, you know, you're building wind farms, you're doing all these things to just set up at home, you know, and even going into that, for any one of those that are playing Monopoly, which I'm sure there's so many in our community that will be playing Monopoly.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're buying your board game.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I want to see every avid fan of Monopoly showing up that they have your board game, bro. Most
Monopoly,
definitely.
Black Love is Black Power, and Black Child Promotions collaboration. You know.
And I see another beautiful thing. You honoured your father, who passed away.
In both the book, Great People, and also the Melanopoly game. You know, again, it couldn't be done without Black Love is Black Power. And you know, through that collaboration, that's the best. That's my way of honouring my father. You know, I might not be able to do it in other ways or whatever, but through literature, his legacy lives on. His legacy lives on anyway, but his legacy lives on.
It's a lasting legacy,
you know,
that, you know, which is encapsulated for generations to come.
Exactly.
And you know, your father, you can speak into Bunny Striker Lee. You know, is a legend.
One of the pioneers. There would be a lot of people that are listening to hip hop and all that now, they don't know. You know, rest in peace, Daddy U-Roy. You know, rest in peace, Toots. You know, and all the other legends, Just Stitch. You know, these are the first. You know, rap come from Toasted, and even the remix come from Jamaica. You know, so and even if you want to go into the Mental and Calypso, there's a whole history that we're listening to music now, like dubstep, you know, grime, all these type of things, but we don't know the origins of where they come from. You know,
this is the thing. You know, going back to the origins of hip hop. You know, you had DJ Kool Herc, who was of Jamaican descent.
Exactly.
He was, you know, who's crowned the father of hip hop.
Exactly.
But we had MCs or those mic man, DJ man that was spitting on rhythms from long time, from way back. And you know, a lot of that generation is passing now. You know,
like even for example, one of my favorite tracks is before Bob Marley set up the concept of Rastafari. You know, because you could say he's a Rasta from birth, but I'm saying before he made that transition, when he was a young artist, he made a song called Mr. Chatterbox, How Long Will You Live? Where it's called Mr. Chatterbox, and it's basically the first kind of battle. Like, you know, nowadays it would be called battle rap. It's in I Am the Gorgon documentary, like Bunny Striker Lee documentary, where he says that him and another well-known producer called Niney was in problems, you know. So for all those that want to check it out, just put in Bob Marley, Mr. Chatterbox. That was an early song with my dad producing Bob Marley. So he always had he had real life problems with this 90, and they actually had a real fight. But if you listen to the beginning of the track, he's like, "Who that 90?" Like it's proper shots being thrown and stuff. So this is way back. This is way back. But people who are actually connoisseurs of the art form of music, you know, people who actually, you know, just like someone like a grime artist or a pop artist might be criticized by the purists or whatever, but you don't necessarily have to be that. But if you appreciate, you know, the culture, then you have to look at the past to see where we've gone or where we are now. You know, you always have, just like in the books, I always have to give respect to Dougie. I always have to give respect to Brooklyn Nuba and Asar Mike and Aki Wali and many others, because they set the foundation without, and Nkrumah Pepper Kai as well. Pepper Kai from Head Start. Rest in peace, Garvey as well, who used to be in that bookshop, and they used to own part of West Green Road, where the Woolworths used to be and all that. They set the foundation. So without knowing where you've come from and knowing who set the foundation, you can't go forward. You know, and I think sometimes, you know, we lose that in this society. You know, we don't have that village mentality anymore. You know, as we become more materialistic, we become more individualistic, and we forget things. We think that, you know, we just did this ourselves. But we don't give reverence to the inspiration where it came from, you know. So even me within this, I'm just playing my part, you know. Just like in the old Dead Pres songs where it says, be like the ants, ant army. Like, I'm just another ant. You understand what I'm saying? In the army, just trying to contribute to the culture, basically. And create some history, you know, organically. So just like my father did, my father was an inspiration to me because he's self-made. He never really ever had a 9-to-5, and he came from Greenwich Farm and managed to, you know, go all the way to the top, you know, and not just monetary wise or whatever, but legacy wise. So that's admirable. That's all I needed to know. So I'm just trying to make a way. Like 18 years compared to Pepper Kai's 50 years and my dad's 50 years or 60 years is no comparison. Like right now, the way I see it, when my children, my young children, they don't know anything about Black Child Promotions. They don't know what I've done or little accomplishments that I think I've done. So I have to start that process all again, because if I don't raise them right or don't teach them in the right way, then all the work the work's just beginning, basically. I haven't crossed no lines yet or whatever, morally, spiritually, it's just beginning. So the jewels that my dad gave me, and even from my mother, who was also a poet, like Lioness Chant, big up Lioness Chant, they've taught me in a way, you know, where I'm trying to now reflect on those lessons, and that's the gems, you know, that's what gives me the inspiration to move forward. So,
you know, 50 years down the line, what gems would you want to see that you've left? You know, how would you like to see the future in 50 years, bro? What do you envision for the planet, and what do you envision for the community specifically?
Well, you know what I would like to see? I would like to see, instead of us always trying to seek to integrate, that we have something for ourselves. You know, I want to see less martyrs, you know, less people who have to die for the revolution. Why can't we live for the revolution? Why can't we have businesses? Why can't we have youth clubs, black youth, old youth clubs? You know, why can't we have, you know, everything we need, industry, infrastructure? I want to see, like, just like they had their renaissance, we need a renaissance right now of higher learning. You know, I think that's what's happening right now. You know, people are waking up, you know. Even on the stall in Brixton, sometimes you have a man, I don't want to take no promotional picture, you know, bro, but here, what? Give me a couple of them books there and I'll keep it moving. Give thanks for the support, you know, that kind of thing. So people are waking up slowly, you know, and becoming more aware of who the true enemy is and, you know, the nature of the system. So just to contribute towards that, you know, just to know that these things have been going on before us and they'll probably be going on after us. But know what side you're on. Are you someone who's trying to contribute to uplifting the community, or someone that's going to destroy it, or just benefit from the people and not give nothing back? You know, so these are the things that, you know, morals and principles, you know, that I'm no one's perfect, but, you know, just try not to deviate from the path and just be true to you. Don't try to be anybody else, just be your authentic self, and everything else your turn will come, you know. That things will happen to you, you know. People talk about this law of attraction. Well, that's it. Just be yourself, work diligently towards your goal, and where there's a will, there's a way, you know. You know, and just each one teach one. Always be willing to learn as well. Know that you don't know everything. You know, there's, even in martial arts, when you get to the black belt, there's first dan, second dan, third dan. It probably goes all the way up. Yes, that's so, you know, right now if I'm on black belt, then Uncle Pepper Kai is probably about free dan or right now. So I'm just a baby. You understand? So that's the way I see it in life. I just want to leave an impact, and I think right now I'm doing that. But I don't see it. All I just do is look for the next thing that I have to do. I don't look at what I've done, and even though sometimes it's good to reflect, but there's so much more to do. And if you have a charismatic personality, or someone that everyone looks to, if that person's gone, how does the revolution now continue? So we need that intergenerational wealth, that intergenerational that passing down that tacit knowledge to the next generation, so they know what to do, giving them the keys.
You know, so you want to leave a legacy for the next generation.
Yeah, and also just know what side I'm on, because as I said, these things have been going on before us, and it isn't necessarily going to stop when we pass on. So it's about giving the keys to the youth, because each generation is going to come up, you know. So it's about giving the keys and the power to the youth, because they're the next generation, and also liberating the woman as well, because women are our greatest resource and the greatest thing to me. You know, the biggest supporters. Anything happens to a black man, who's on the front line, because they're our mothers, they're our sisters. So just that love, like, let's start to have a renaissance period between the black man and the black woman, you know, show each other more love and understanding. This is the true meaning of reparations. It's restoration, restoring what was taken, you know, that communal, that community, you know, and that love between us, you know. We don't want to let the system come and intervene in our affairs, because they've got no
have no right being there.
Exactly, and their aim is to destroy the black family. So the more we show each other love, and, you know, we're not going to be perfect, but we come to some kind of, if we can be diplomatic with people outside at work, then why can't we be diplomatic at home? You know, because, you know, we need more black love, basically. You know, that's why even the people we collaborate with, the organization Black Love is Black Power, because black love is black power. The more we show each other love, they're not going to show us love. We can't expect the people that lynched us, you know, threw children into burning buildings, our children into burning buildings, that did all manner of stuff, you know, to us to now be like, oh, we're gonna save you. Even if they come with a nice smile, they've got no interest to make us, our conditions any better.
The enemy gives us nothing.
Exactly.
The enemy gives us nothing. Well, then this is why it's important for us to have our own.
It's important.
Our own social networks.
This is it. We need
our own media companies, our own media distribution.
Shout out the NFT as well, you know.
Yeah, you know, for people to.
Is it NFT? The one that the nation have.
Yeah,
NFT. NFT. Shout them out.
Or NFA Studios.
NFA Studios. Sorry, NFA Studio. I want to get that right. Shout out.
Yeah, NFA Studios are doing their thing.
Yeah.
And you know, it's important for us to actually sign up and subscribe.
You
know, it's, you know, how much money do we spend as a community individually on things that we could just say, you know what, I'm not going to have that for this week. I'm not going to have it in 2 weeks' time either, and that's enough money that if they invested in something like NFA Studios or any other black-owned or community-led, you know, business. You know what I mean? It could take it much further than it would need to be prior to that.
When you see, for example, some people, they like in the Tottenham community or the Brixton community, they're silently just buying up all the houses. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we could do this, because the amount of people that rep this ends and rep that ends, properties need to be bought then, and we have to have something like tangible in those areas if we're gonna die for these areas. But that's not really happening. But it's like you said, we need our own. Just like that little strip in Brixton that we have now, and it's vibrant right now. We nickname it the Black Wall Street. You know, but we don't want the same thing to happen, and we're nowhere near that level. But I'm saying it's the same. That concept still resonates with us.
We need to be in a position where we have ownership of the area. We have control, which is the key word of areas. And it's not that we don't even it's not that we don't even collaboration with local authorities or anything like that. We can have institutions or things in place which we control, but we have those in position of power that have our best interests at heart. There are individuals that would be checking up on you and what you're doing on a daily basis that don't have your best interest at heart, brother. So,
and I've seen it. Even though when I was younger, because I grew up in Tottenham. When I went to a school called John Loughborough School, but I'm not talking about the contemporary John Loughborough before, you know, when they made it public or whatever. But it used to be a private school. When I went, I was like 12 years old, 11 years old. But one thing I remember about the school, even though it was like, you know, 7-day Adventist, not everyone in the school was 7-day Adventist. It was an all-black school. So from an early age, all my teachers were black, all my friends were black, and, you know, we had a lot of fun. Even, you know, taking the mick out of the caretakers, Bobby Brown hairstyle when he's an old man with the slick hairstyle. You know what I'm saying? Like, even things like that. Seeing Ras Lowy, you know, Ras Lowy and them, like a Rasta man doing the painting and decorating. You understand? So those as I said, representation is very important in it. So we need to create those spaces where our children see it and just realize that, you know, it's not about hatred or whatever. It's about self-love. We don't even care about anybody else. It's like, you know, when like a model goes on a magazine or Vogue or something, and then they airbrush her to look lighter. Why would we be angry about that? Because if we had our own magazine and stopped worshipping these people, then we wouldn't have nothing to be, you know what I'm saying, the outrage. What? We support these people. They don't care about us. They make it very, very clear that they don't like us.
And we're putting their children through private school.
Exactly.
We're putting their children to university. Exactly. You know, we're supporting their institutions, which are giving their children particular jobs that our children won't get based on a prejudice and a systemic oppression.
Exactly.
Basically.
And if you look at it, even in the hair industry, we've got a book called Black Hair, and it's the black woman that come up with the hot comb and all of these type of things. But it's other communities and other economies that are benefiting from these things. So we need to, it's not just about, you know, saying, oh, the sister with the weave, oh, we burn her out, because it's not about what's on your head, it's what's in your head first of all. So it's not just, you know, we're gonna look down on you because you're wearing that. No, we want ownership. Let's start owning things. Because that's where power comes in. Remember what I said? I keep on repeating it. In the Blueprint for Black Power by Amos Wilson, we deny the ambiguity of power to our peril. Our refusal to accept its existence doesn't make it suddenly vanish from reality. It's therefore our undeniable obligation to understand this thing called power and use it to benefit ourselves and our communities. We can't be apathetic towards power, because it's either we realize our power or we're going to be victims of power.
So brother, this even ties into with that particular attack on yourself. You know, you had the support within less than 24 hours from a legal aid.
Even less than that, less.
That was from our community, you know, brother Jeffrey Muhammad.
You know, Jeffrey all the time. Yeah.
It's for individuals like that are from our community, that are within a company or within a setup that is actually black owned.
Yeah.
That is so important.
That's very important. It's essential, and that's why I believe, you know, riches isn't just wealth, monetary wealth. Riches is the wealth of the community, having these people and these resources. Now, a lot of us, you know, within the struggle, or people that say they're in the struggle, we tend to look down at people, you know, that might have a position within the system. But I'll always try to alert them to the fact that if they've ever watched a movie, The Spook Who Sat by the Door, where a man basically has gone into the CIA on a tokenist type of basis, but he's brought all of the secrets back into his community. We need other communities have people in all different positions. Like, for example, the murders of Stephen Lawrence, rest in peace, 1993, it was said basically that they were dealing with Dwayne Brooks, the best friend of Stephen Lawrence, like he was a criminal. And some say that the father of the murderers had links to the people in the police force, and this basically, you know, precipitated the events that happened with the, you know, the injustices and the whole racist thing. So we need our own soldiers within every position. We need people that are in everything, you know, so we can call on these resources. So the fact that brother Jeff Muhammad was a brother and he was also a legal aid, he knew the importance of the situation. He saw our brothers being attacked, and, you know, the natural disposition of his heart compelled him to want to take the case. He didn't even second guess it. And if you saw the respect, when the way he was attired, his whole mannerisms, his demeanor, you know, the police feared him, to quite frankly, brother. They see he was a serious man. They saw, and when you have that type of power, they recognize that type of power. You once you have your own and they see that you're independent, self-reliant, they don't know how to deal with that. Because
you're meeting as equals.
Exactly.
There's a level of equity there.
I would even go into, I don't want people to get all scary, because people might get scary, but even the concept of masonry, because mason just means a stone builder or architect or whatever. But if you want to look at, you know, Masonic lodges and all these type of things, through my research and book, I'll read anything, like most things anyway. And through my research, all it is a network of people That's all it is. So you might have one man that owns a restaurant. You might have one man that's a police officer. You might have one man that's a traffic warden. So if you're driving and your car's parked, and then they say, oh, that's one of our brothers, and the car's parked there, and you say, all right, we'll let it go because he's in the position of power where he can let the other guy through. So we get all spooky with this thing. All it is people in different positions that have a network that come together. Remember Prince Hall, one of the first black Masonic lodges and so forth or whatever. I don't want to get too deep into this because people might think I'm one of them or whatever. But I'm just saying it's just a network. It's a network of people. Like if the judge knows the police officer that killed one of our brothers in the community, the judge is gonna say, you know what, I'm not even gonna reprimand him because they're
not gonna throw down the full
because they're in the same network, so they save each other. You know, so all I'm saying is that let's have our community networks in all positions, in all from socio-economic group A, B, down to the proletariat. Let's have it all. Let's have that network.
This is exactly how we bring about freedom, justice, and equality, bro.
Exactly.
Because if we want to be free, we want freedom, we want justice, we want equality.
Yeah.
We have to have something of our own. We need to have land. We need to have our businesses, our own institutions.
Of course.
You know, and what the beautiful thing, which I love, is that you've encompassed this in everything that you do within yourself.
Exactly.
It's in your new board game, which I hope everyone
Yeah. And if you want to know more about what I'm talking about, the best thing to do, as I said, the collaboration. I always say this: Black Child Promotions and Black Love is Black Power, the main brainchild behind this, you know, collaboration. And just learn about it, you know, intergenerational wealth. It starts with the children. Frederick Douglass once said that it's easy. I've always said this, I'll repeat it again. It's easy to raise strong children than to repair broken men or broken adults. Let's teach the younger generation to be fearless. You know, there's another book, I forgot the author, where it says, why should white guys have all the fun? We need to, as I said, it's not about dying for the revolution. It's about living now for the revolution. Let's realize generations of intergenerational wealth. Let's see our children live. Let's stop killing each other. Let's, you know, realize who the real enemy is, get together, you know, not even integrate to the point where we lead our people into a burning building. Let's have our own. You know, remember who said that? I think Martin Luther King said, I realized that I've led my people into a burning building. Instead of
integrated our people into a burning house.
Instead of looking for civil rights, or even now I would say human rights, Black lives can't matter if it doesn't matter to us. We don't need to, we can't convince our historical oppressor, people that have done the most depraved things to us, to tell them that our lives matter. They've been killing us for over 400 years. Do you think if that's not gonna do? The best thing we can do is just have our own. People get scared when you say race first. Race first doesn't mean anything bad. It just means putting yourself like other nations do. If you go to Leicester now, you see all the Asian businesses, all the Asian communities, them doing their own thing. You go to Stamford Hill, you see all the Asganazis doing their own thing. You know, some of them are secret millionaires. You might see them on a bus with their shopping, but you go into their house now, it's marble floors. You know, I always say that sometimes I believe black people don't love money, you know, but they love the status and the things that money brings. But if we have self-esteem, we won't put so much emphasis on these material, you know, just these material objects that come from Western or other companies. We'll develop them ourselves, you know. And this relates to even the liberation of Africa, not just us in the diaspora. We need to control our resources. Now, if you look at, like, for example, what's going on in the Niger Delta, for example, and you see what the Shell company has done. Like, the Niger Delta had a rich fishing industry that helped the community, helped the villagers, you know, because of all of the pollution from these people that have come there primarily to just exploit the resources. They've destroyed the Niger Delta's economy, fishing economy. They've also created famine and many other, disasters. But these things aren't looked at. We need to pull up these Western companies and cowboy infrastructure companies that use the resources, you know, the ones that mine precious metals, coltan mines in Congo, where we have the mobile phone and people are dying in the Congo because of this. All of the resources still come from the continent. So we need to be in control of our resources. We need to be in control, ownership. Yeah, until that happens, then we can't be free. Because even if we believe we're getting somewhere in the diaspora, if Africans free, if Africa's not free, black people can't be free. Africa has to be free.
Well, you mentioned the word Africa. What is your view? And I know there's some people that say Africa is not the original name of Africa.
Well, the way I see it, brother, as I said, if you want to say Tamaray, if you want to say Alkebulan, or a different, you say it's not Africa, it comes from Africanus or whatever, all that semantics I don't really get into, because when the oppressor sees us, they just see us as a black man, basically. You understand? They're not going to be like, all right, you're African, you're Nubian, you're like, they don't see there's no difference. They don't see it. You're just IC free. I'll even go as far as to say, even because I still consider mixed race brothers and sisters who identify themselves as African people. They're not gonna see no difference between somebody of a lighter skin than a darker skin. They see you as a black man same way. Definitely. We are the only ones that see these divisions. And the moment we stop seeing them and just come together as a unit, and an elder called Brother Shaka, always said this to me, is that we need to stop talking about just black people uniting, because that might never happen. But if we can unite over a common issue, like one issue, like for example, police brutality, for example, and one issue at a time, because Europeans don't get along. But look at the Berlin Conference. When it goes time to divide up Africa, they were, all around. These are historic enemies, but they'll come together to oppress us. So we need to have, the same kind of mentality as when it comes to unity. Collective development. That's what nationalism means. Protecting the sovereignty of our nation states, a United States of Africa, reclaiming even parts of North Africa, and telling these people, some of them that are there, that they have to respect the indigenous people. So whether it's European oppression or Euro-Arab oppression or
it's all white supremacy.
Exactly. And I'll even say I amended that. My brother always told me amend that one there. Because as we know, these people are not supreme.
So it's the myth
It's the myth of white supremacy or white terrorism. Because they like to call everyone else terrorism, but this is the real terrorists, on this planet. So, we, it's about unity now, brother. That collective spirit.
Well, thank you, Brother Sulaiman. It's been a fantastic talk.
It's been a pleasure to be here, my brother. And I thank you for even thinking to invite me on the platform, and I wish you all the best. And I know there's going to be many more collaborations in the future. Always a brother that I have maximum respect for, that I look up to in the community. So just keep on doing what you're doing, my brother.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. And this is what we do at the Realm.
I know it's social distancing, but yeah.
Yeah, this is what we do at the Realm. We bring in those individuals that get into the essence of their spirit, into their nature. And I've tried to get some understanding of how we can change our reality, for the community and how we live our lives on a daily basis. This is the Realm. Definitely. We can use our minds, use our imagination, use our determination, use our skills and expertise to change this reality. It's not that difficult. All we got to do is put in the work.
Exactly.
So people out there on a daily basis doing the work, and we want to showcase that, have real important conversations with individuals that we admire, and thank you for watching.